The number of female leaders has grown significantly over the past few years in Botswana. And although there's still some way to go before they reach the same level as men, the changes are noticeable. My name is Lil-Que and welcome to Doing Business in Botswana. Last week we profiled several women entrepreneurs who are changing the face of business in Botswana. But tonight we tackle some of the challenges that women face in the corporate world, and we ask the question, why are there so few women in the boardroom? Most women entrepreneurs in Botswana are operating in the informal sector, but there are some who have broken the trend and ventured into traditionally male-dominant sectors. This week, we speak to two of these trailblazers. Queen Nkate and her partner Lili Matenge were amongst the first women to open an accounting and consulting firm in Botswana. Lil-Que was founded in 2000, and to date, the company has established an impressive track record in the local financial services market.
We came up with the idea while we were both working for Botswana Diamond Valuing Company. She was the financial controller and I was the accountant at the time. At first we thought there was a gap in the market, in that at the time when we opened our company, which was back in 2000, there weren't a lot of companies that were established to meet the needs of small to medium enterprises. At the time, there were mainly what we call the big four companies, which are your Deloitte and Pricewaterhouse and the others. So we felt that there is a niche market for a company like ours to address the needs of small to medium enterprises, especially those organizations that view the big five as expensive.
Lil-Que's clients range from small enterprises to some of the most affluent companies in Botswana. Now, building that client base, however, was a road fraught with challenges.
It's not easy to be in business, especially as a service provider. If you are in a retail type of business, you are selling something, so if someone needs it, there will always be people coming in and out. But as accountants, as a consultancy company offering accounting and financial advisory services, it's not every day that you find people coming in. So there were days when we sort of doubted ourselves. Did we make the right decision? Should we persevere and all that? But I'm happy that we did stick it out despite all the challenges.
Regina Vaka is another woman who carved out a niche in the male-dominated industry. And during that time, she has been at the helm of some of the largest corporations in Botswana. Corporations like Botswana Life, BIHL, MVA, and she's currently the chairperson of the Botswana Stock Exchange. This year, she stepped into the top seat at the insurer Brema Life.
Brema Life is a combination of, is a joint venture between citizens of Botswana and a Mauritian company, the largest life insurance company in Mauritius. They are part of a conglomerate which is made up of different types of corporates from the financial services. They've got asset management, they've got banking, they've got leasing, they've got life insurance, they've got general insurance, and so on. And they took the decision that they wanted to expand into the rest of Africa. You know how Mauritius is offshore. So they went on an expansion program into the rest of Africa, and they started with Botswana. I think that part of the reason why they started with Botswana is that they felt that they've got a lot of similarities with Botswana. The size and in terms of population. The key thing is that they find that the economy of Botswana has done very well. They also had a very good view about our regulatory environment. They're comfortable with the fact that we've got Mbifira, we've got the Bank of Botswana that's regulating the banks, and we're doing a very decent job in terms of regulating the financial services sector.
Women like Vaka, who head up large multinational companies, are still largely lacking in Botswana.
Women in the corporate world are not that many. When you look at the top position, which is the CEO position. But if you look at the next level of management, you're going to find there's a lot of women there. So if you look at your senior management and you look at your middle management, there's a lot of women there. So in a sense, you find that Botswana is sitting in a position where women are not empowered when you look at the ultimate decision-making structures, but they are represented at senior management level. And the funny thing is they're represented at the level where you actually do the implementation. So in the main, you can comfortably say that a lot of implementation happens because of the women that are in these organizations. When you look at it from the point of view of parliament and politics, the representation is not so much. And so the answer to whether women are empowered in Botswana has to be a no.
The Women in Business Association, WIBA, is an independent, non-governmental organization set up to create a forum for women in business to meet and share ideas, to tackle those problems that are unique to women and which tend to inhibit the success of their enterprises.
But at WIBA, we are a network of women in business, all sectors. We are open to any woman who's a sector and whose business is registered in Botswana, right? As an association, the reason why we were set up initially is we picked that in Botswana, when you look at the statistics, most of the people in business are women. But surprisingly, a majority of those are in the informal sector, which now means the men control the bigger sector, you know, the money spinning sectors. So as an association, we want to change that picture. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the informal sector because that's where they all start off, but we want to capacitate, you know, enhance their skill so that they move from being informal to being formal sector. And for those who are already in the formal sector, we want to now elevate them to another higher level, for women to now get active in more previously male-dominated sectors like engineering, like construction, and mining and stuff.
In Botswana, women have demonstrated considerable leadership in community, informal businesses and organizations, as well as in the public and private enterprises. However, stereotyping of women and domestic constraints prevents them from having significant impact in decision-making processes.
Most of the decisions that are made in businesses are made in a social setup. And we know that men, they always play golf together. They always, you know, go to places where they come together and discuss businesses. But as women, because we are also mothers, talking about the balancing act of running a family and managing a business, as mothers, in most cases, as soon as we leave the office, we run home. So we miss out on that networking system where we can then draw from each other's experiences, where we can then establish relationships, mentorships, and talk to our peers about the challenges that they themselves have had.
We've had a Swedish expert coming in to train our members on being members of boards, you know, being members of governing boards, like boards of directors. And the reason why we did that, you know, we had this nagging, we had a concern, the same concern you're having, that, you know, even when you look at these boards of directors, women aren't really active. You know, it's male. And initially, you know, we said, no, you know, women must be given an opportunity to feature. And then, but by interacting with our members, we actually realized that the problem was amongst us. We were not confident enough, you know, to apply for some of these positions.
In the corporate, because the corporates have largely historically been led by men, it's the men's club that are in the boardrooms. We need to be in a position as women to be able to convert this big strength that we have when we're dealing with social issues, to be able to convert, to bring it to the boardroom, so that when we are in the boardroom, we learn to support other women and bring them into the boardroom as well. I think in a lot of cases, if you look at what happens with ladies in leadership, some of the ladies within the leadership don't surround themselves with ladies as well. They surround themselves with men.
Although the boardroom is still predominantly male, women are moving in and changing attitudes towards leadership.
Just naturally, men and women are very different. We bring different qualities to the table. We bring different qualities to the boardroom. And I think that one of the things that sometimes makes it difficult for women to compete is because women feel that they have to have that level of aggression that the man has, or they've got to have that level of, to be like men. And I think that's a mistake, because when you're trying to be like men, you'll never be like a man. You're not designed to be. So just do better with what you were designed to be. Let your femininity take over, because there's a lot of qualities that you have just that are inherent by virtue of being a woman that a man will never have. You need to be able to identify what those are and to strengthen those and to promote those, as opposed to trying to acquire skills and expertise and qualities that you'll never have, because that is not your genetic wiring. You're not a man.
Women still face the glass ceiling when it comes to top management jobs, both in the private and public sectors. But that is changing here in Botswana.
We picked the priority sectors that were identified within the strategy and started off with areas that we know women are active in. Textiles, agro-processing. You'll be surprised at how many women are involved in farming, more than the men. Like your horticulture, it's more women. We had arts and crafts as well. But on the same breath, within the strategy, we also picked areas that we really want women to be active in, like mining. We had someone from the Department of Mines who came and trained our members on how to access these mining opportunities, and we all realized that it wasn't as difficult as it was made out to be. So sometimes it's really access to information. Our key role is to ensure that at the click of a button, or just by sitting in a room within one of our meetings, is for a member to feel really empowered and knowledgeable.
I would like to see more and more women representation in boardrooms, but not for the sake of women being women themselves, but those women should be appointed based on merit. In Botswana, we are very, very fortunate in that we've never had a policy where boys are being favored over girls in terms of education. We've all been given the same opportunity in terms of our education system in Botswana. And as such, we have so many women who are qualified to become board members.
Women represent more than half of the population in Botswana, and their role in economic development is becoming stronger. Competition is also forcing local companies to realize that success is highly dependent on talented people, regardless of gender. And companies with more diverse boardrooms are proving to perform better and take fewer risks. Diversity truly pays. From me, Brando Kebilwe, thank you for watching, and join me again next week.